Welcome to the ISupply Directory Training webinar. This webinar is for organisations interested in marketing products and services on the ISupply Directory. My name is Nicole Boyd and I'll be your trainer. By the end of this webinar, you should have an understanding of the ISupply program and be able to develop a directory entry as part of the ISupply Directory. Today we will learn about what ISupply is and how it will impact the industry, how to prepare a directory entry and the ISupply process, about the ISupply Product Partnership Program for material suppliers, ISupply support services, and how to get additional support after this webinar. What is ISupply? The ISupply program has been designed to connect sustainable products and services with projects and assets undertaking the ISCA Infrastructure Sustainability Rating Scheme, or IS for short. The IS rating scheme is a third-party verified rating scheme that rates the sustainability of infrastructure projects and assets. The aim of the ISupply program is to maximise spend with iSuppliers throughout the infrastructure supply chain. This means two things: that infrastructure projects use more sustainable suppliers, and suppliers become more sustainable to access the large infrastructure market requiring sustainable suppliers. Currently, these organisations mandate the use of IS within contracts, meaning there are plenty of projects who are looking for suppliers that can help them achieve sustainability outcomes rewarded under the IS rating scheme. To date, in 2012, over $160 billion worth of infrastructure projects and assets are engaged in the IS rating process. This model in front of you is the theory of change, or the logic model, and it's used to understand the inputs and impacts of a program or an organisation. We have created the theory of change for the ISupply program. This model shows that the outputs of the program are directory entries linking suppliers with IS credits, ISupply support services, and ISupply events. Those outputs create outcomes which include sustainable suppliers accessing infrastructure projects and infrastructure projects accessing sustainable suppliers, which results in transformed supply chains for positive social and environmental outcomes and more sustainable infrastructure projects. There are three requirements to access ISupply. 1. An organisation must be an ISCA member or apply to be an iSupplier. 2. At least one person in the organisation must have undertaken the Intro to IS or the 2-day ISAP training course. This is so someone understands the IS rating scheme and can help write the directory entry. And 3. The product or service marketed on the directory needs to link to at least one IS credit. The steps involved in the ISupply program are: 1. Become an ISCA or ISupply member and one person in your organisation to undertake the Intro to IS training or ISAP training. 2. Undertake the ISupply training. This is what you are doing now. 3. Create directory entries. I'll take you through how to do this process in a moment. 4. Entries are then reviewed and approved. We'll go through this as well. 5. Once approved, the entries are then published online and publicly available. And finally, number 6, entries then need to be reviewed every 12 months to ensure they remain up to date. This is what the ISupply directory looks like. You can search via credit, location, product or service type, or by free text. It works like many other online directory and marketplaces you would have used in the past. Once you input your search criteria and click Go, or alternatively select Advanced Search, a page like this one will come up. This page will give you a summary of the entries that fit your search criteria. You can refine your search using the selections on the left-hand side. The search can be refined by product or service type, rating version, rating phase such as planning, design, as-built and operations, credits, and geographic region. Once the user makes a selection, the detail of the product or service is shown like you can see on the screen. Here it details the related credits, phases, product types, and the regions the product or service is available, an outline of the product or service and its sustainability outcomes, and the projects this product or service has been used on. The contact details will be revealed after the user clicks Contact Information. This is so we can track the number of times a user has wanted to see the contact information, being a proxy for genuine interest in that product or service. How to prepare an ISupply directory entry. An iSupplier is an organisation who is an ISupply member. A directory entry is written by an iSupplier and reviewed by ISCA. It includes one product or service which may link to 10 credits or less, or it links to one credit or category and includes multiple products or services. That means that one product, such as an energy saving widget, can link to, say, ENE1, ENE2, and DIS5 up to 10 credits. Or maybe you are a full service resource management firm who can help projects achieve the whole resource efficiency category through your waste management division that can recycle a range of construction materials, your procurement arm that can help you purchase recycled materials for your project, and your consultancy arm that can help you develop your resource efficiency strategy. There are a number of requirements for an ISupply directory entry. 1. An entry cannot guarantee IS scores or outcomes such as product X will ensure you receive a level 3 in example credit 1. 2. An entry cannot be misleading. And 3. All entries must comply with the Australian Association of National Advertisers Code of Ethics. When a product or a service is claiming a benefit to the environment, the claim must comply with the AANA Environmental Claims Code. The ACCC has a useful guide called Green Marketing in the Australian Consumer Law, which may be helpful. Things to draw your attention to in the AANA Code of Ethics are 1.2 shall not be misleading, 1.3 shall not misrepresent, 1.4 must not exploit community concern in relation to protecting the environment. And in the Environmental Claims Code, 1B shall display disclaimers or important limitations. 2B, not overstate the claim. 3A, supporting information shall include sufficient detail to allow evaluation of the claim. The first step to writing a directory entry is to refresh yourself with the IS rating so you can understand where your product or service relates. Pages 14 to 16 in the iSupply guide provides an outline of the IS credits in both version 1.2 and version 2.0. Think about the sustainability outcomes your product or service creates. Then use the category list and identify where there could be linkages with your product or service. It's going to be more effective if you can be really specific about where in the rating you can provide assistance, for example, in level 1.2 of ENV1. This is not always going to be possible, but it will be really helpful for the user if there is a direct link to the rating. Read the relevant categories in full and identify how your product or service can contribute. Remember, the rating is for the infrastructure asset and not your operations. So think about how your product or service can help an infrastructure project or asset to create sustainability outcomes rewarded under the IS rating scheme. If you do not have a copy of the IS Technical Manual, email membership@isca.org.au and outline which categories you require, and they will be sent to you. There are 5 principles for a good iSupply directory entry. 1. Be concise. There are only 400 words in total to outline your product or service and the sustainability outcomes it creates. 2. Be truthful. Please don't say things that are not factual, and make sure any claims you make are defendable. It'll create a poor reputation within the industry and undermine the whole iSupply program if you do mislead. We will check if what you say will support the rating scheme, but we won't be checking if your product or service does what you say it does. What you write must comply with AANA Code of Ethics, and any environmental claims must comply with the AANA Environmental Claims Code. 3. Clearly outline the benefits and how it relates to IS. The more clearly you can link your product or service to the IS rating scheme, the more effective your directory entry will be. 4. Do not provide guarantees that your product or service will result in IS rating outcomes. Avoid using terms such as will result in, ensure that your project will achieve, guarantee that your project will get a score of X, etc. And 5, use searchable terms. There is a free text search field in the directory, so think about the words someone might use to search for a product or service like yours and add them into your wording. Let's take a look at a good example of a directory entry. At the top of the page, you can see an outline of the product type, the regions it's available, the related 1.2 and 2.0 credits, and the rating phases it links to. In this example, we can see they've used searchable terms such as waste, construction, landfill, recycling, and the credit names. It's short and sharp and gets to the point in not many words. It's factual and truthfully describes what services it can provide and some limitations such as the regions they operate. It clearly outlines the benefits and is specific about the credits and criterion this service can support. There are no words such as will or guarantee, etc., and instead uses terms such as may and can. And a tip for writing your directory entries: the first 100 words is what shows up in the summary search, so use this section to communicate who you are and what you do. Scrolling down further is a section to outline associated projects that your product or service has been used on in the past. In this section, you can add a link to any website. The ISCA website has an outline of all the IS-rated projects, so if you're referencing an IS-rated project, it's a good idea to link to the project's page on the ISCA website. You can also link to other websites such as the project's website or your own website. How to submit your entries on the ISupply directory. Once you have emailed ISCA to let us know you have completed this webinar, you'll receive a link to set up your account. Once you've set up your account, go to www.isupply.org.au and select the iSupplier login at the top right-hand corner of the page. Enter your login details. A page like this one will open up. Click Edit Profile to set up your profile. To enter an entry, select Get Started. The Setup wizard will open. Here you can enter the title of the entry, select the product or service type and the region it's available in, and then select Next. In this section, you can write your entry. The About section is where you tell the user about your product or service. The Sustainability Outcomes section is where you outline the sustainability outcomes your product or service can create and how it links to the IS credits. There is a word limit of 200 words per section. Once you've completed, push Next. Here you can select the relevant rating versions, the rating phases, and the credits your product or service links to. Then push Next. This is where you put the contact information and select the header image. There are template header images you can choose from, or you can upload your own image. We always recommend you uploading your own image to make the page specifically branded to your organisation. However, you can use a template image should you wish. Once you've completed this section, push Next. Once you get to this screen, you can edit any of the sections you previously filled out, and you can enter your associated projects by adding their web links. It's best to copy and paste the web link addresses rather than typing it out, as the full web address is required. Once you're happy with your entry, select Submit for approval. ISCA will receive an email notifying us that you've submitted an entry and will review it within 10 working days, but usually sooner. When you submit your entry, you'll be taken to a screen like this one. In the dashboard, you will see entries you have submitted, their status, and an option to create a new entry. Directory entry review and updating. ISCA will review your entry, and if approved, it will be released onto the directory immediately. For ISCA members, as part of your membership, you get 3 entry reviews for free. That means if you follow the instructions in this webinar and you get the directory entry right the first time, you can have 3 entries for free. If not, it means you only have 3 rounds of review before there are fees. Every 12 months, you'll be asked to review your entry to ensure it remains up to date and relevant. This is so the directory is a useful resource. If anything changes and you need to update the directory entry, you can make minor changes for free and resubmit them to ISCA for review. If there are any major changes, such as the product or service you are marketing, then ISCA will need to review again. Remember, if you're a member and you have used your 3 reviews, there will be a review fee. Minor updates will not be charged. Product Partnership Program. As part of the ISupply program, the Product Partnership Program is available to material suppliers who want to market their products in the version 2 materials calculator and have obtained an Environmental Product Declaration, or EPD for short. The materials calculator is used as part of the rating scheme to understand the impacts of materials on a project or asset. Most projects undertaking the rating use this tool, especially since there's quite a number of points associated with the materials credits. This program gives your product a visibility to all version 2 projects by providing your branded products and its associated EPD data within the materials calculator. The program is only available to product suppliers with an EN 15804 compliant EPD. If you're interested in this program, more information and fees are outlined in the iSupplier guide. Directory Entry Support Services. ISCA can help you write your directory entry and identify the credits that your product or service links to. If you're interested in support services, more information and fees are outlined in the iSupplier guide. Now that you understand the iSupply program and how to write the directory entry, you can get started by following these steps. Step 1. Email membership@isca.org.au and ask for an iSupplier login to be created. Please provide a contact name, email, and the organisation. 2. Develop your iSupply entries. An offline template is available on the ISCA website for download if needed. 3. Obtain internal approval if this step is required. 4. Log in and create the iSupplier directory entry and submit for review. 5. ISCA will review your entry. And 6. If the entry is approved, it's then made live. If you require any further support, please contact ISCA at membership@isca.org.au or call the phone number on your screen. Thanks for your time, and we look forward to seeing your directory entries.